Okay, we're here with Liam. Ninth place of Big Brother 3 Discord All Stars. How are you feeling?
Hello, sorry, I was just sorting out push to talk. I'm feeling good, thank you. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Moving on. So, what do you think went wrong? Why are you sitting here right now talking to me instead of whoever you was next to, Larry?
Larry. Um, hmm. I think a lot of things. I think, obviously, like the game, you can't predict anything that's going to happen because you could be in a good spot with like sort of when I put up Axel in week two. I was in like after that, I was kind of in a relatively okay spot with like everyone else except for Axel, and my game was kind of was gonna unravel at some point when he won HOH. But I did my best to try and repair that relationship, and at least I wasn't an initial norm. But yeah, I think that definitely came back to bite me. Just the fact that I'd nominated him before, and he felt like I was the only option, even though he told me Celeste. Um, yeah, and then on top of that, I think that the other thing that went wrong was I didn't have as much, I guess, agency in the game as like someone like Ryan, who had a lot more control over people and where they wanted to go, and he knew that I was probably most likely going to come for him because I was like one of the only people who were actually aware of how well he was playing. And so yeah, and since he had like the social ability to get people to do what he wants, then I think that sort of combined with Axel feeling like I was the only viable renom option, kind of just all bundled together and led to me being sent out of that door.
Okay, let's talk about that week two HOH. So you win the HOH, you decide to nominate Axel and Glide together. Do you regret taking a shot at Axel, especially putting Glide at risk in order to do so?
Absolutely, I think that like as I've sort of come through the game as well, it's kind of been like it's no secret that I'm not, especially from season two, I'm not the most strategically savvy Big Brother player because like I'm not a fan, like a super fan, so I don't have probably the same knowledge of the game as some of the other people do. But yeah, so at the start, like I can own like the first couple of weeks were absolutely horrible, like some really horrible gameplay from me. And the thing was, after Skinny blew up, it was kind of like the lines had been drawn in the sand, and that's not the normal way that I play. I normally try and play the middle, as you've seen in like some of my other seasons and stuff. But yeah, I think that the it was tricky because Larry that week, I in week one I shouldn't have used the veto like point blank period. But in week two, it was kind of like I was still sort of under the influence that of Ryan and Amelia, and I felt like going for Axel because I thought that he would come for me was the best option for me. And obviously, I knew that if Guy won veto, then he'd take him up. And so, in like that week two, I was very emotionally like driven instead of strategically driven, which I should have been. And like like that came back to haunt me. So like yeah, I didn't even need to win like week two HOH. So I think I need a lesson in how to actually like properly throw a competition because I'm quite competitive. So that was kind of the reasonings. Like I didn't try to throw it, which I should have. And then when I did get it, I probably handled it in the worst way possible. But yeah, because I did lose Gly, and I fought really hard to try and get him to get the votes to stay. But yeah, that was definitely not my brightest moment that week.
Okay. You definitely aligned yourself closely with Ryan and Amelia from the start, and I know you were always self-conscious about that connection throughout the game. Do you feel like that ended up being to your benefit to get you this far, or do you feel like it was ultimately a detriment in the long run?
um, that's a good question. I think that like yeah, like as you said at the start, I was even lumped into the trio name of like Rymelium, which was like a pretty good name, I have to admit. But yeah, so like at the start, like that's who I really wanted to play with, especially Amelia. Like that was who I really wanted to try and go far with because, I thought that, our relationship sort of held more weight over a lot of others that she would have in the game, apart from Ryan. And I knew that they were going to be big shields, especially after week one. I knew that Amelia was going to be like a big shield to use, and same with Ryan. But I didn't really interpret the fact that it would turn from shield into everyone being scared to even take a shot at them. So yeah, I should have maybe anticipated that that would happen. But yeah, I think that for the start of my game, it was kind of rough because that led to like people like Sex not being able to properly trust me because of my connection to them. But then through them, through Amelia, I did get lots of information. Like I don't know how, but she does tend to get lots of information when she absolutely shouldn't. But so I did get quite a bit from her. Not everything, I don't think, because I think her loyalties obviously lay with Ryan, no matter how hard she tried to tell me that they weren't. I think he got everything, but I don't think that I received everything. Yeah, and so I think that like the whole thing, it started off rough, and then it kind of worked out for me because I was kind of hiding behind them. But then towards the end, obviously, they both voted to evict me, so it was definitely detrimental. I'd say I don't know if I think I could still get this far without them. I do think that if they like weren't in the house, I'd still probably make it this far. I'd hope. I probably would even make it further because I wouldn't be attached to them and I wouldn't have been so easily manipulated in like the first week or so. But yeah, so I'd say looking at it from the outside perspective, I'd say they were definitely more detrimental than beneficial.
Okay. Oh, how did you? It was a 5-1 vote in order for you to go home. How did you see the vote panning out? Did you expect it to be that way?
Yeah, so like initially when I was renominated, I knew that I would have Blake and Sex's votes because they were minority voters with me in the prior weeks for Blaine's eviction. And so I was kind of like, I'd have those votes because, they'd sort of been with me for a while, especially since Blake had sort of been swayed more to my side than the others. But yeah, and then I kind of just initially upon renomination, like this is a thing that I'm taking away from this season is you literally like you cannot trust anyone, and that was my fault for trusting Amelia. She told me on voice chat many times she was like, I just want to get to the end with you. I don't want you to get third. Like, and I didn't think that she'd try and like make me win, but like I just didn't think that she'd have it in her to just evict me, just cast me out just like that when I'd done so much for her in the game. Like I'd brought so many people together. Like I'd repaired bridges for her when she'd demolished them, and she just tossed me aside just like that. And I could already tell the moment we started talking after I was renominated. It was just like she was convincing herself there was a case to be made to evict me. Celeste is stupid because I was loyal to her as well, and I think she's an idiot, and I think she's going to regret that, and I hope she regrets it. But yeah, I think it goes in terms of rankings. Ryan controls Amelia, who controls Celeste as well. Like my head's at from like what I pick up, and so yeah, I think that I those were sort of the two middle votes that I thought I would have, especially since they both at one point did tell me that I had them. And then even Axel told me he'd break the tie for me. Initially I was convinced, but as the time got closer, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't actually know if that's what's going to happen. But yeah, and so I kind of thought initially Axel did tell me that if he told people that it would stay, that he'd keep me if it was a tie, so he thought I might stay unanimously, which was like yesterday. But yeah, obviously things changed. Ryan's grip on the game is a lot stronger than I ever had, so he was able to get people to think that it was in their best interest when I can already like tell you Amelia and Celeste it was not in their best interest to evict me. Sex is frustrating because like I get it to some degree, but at the same time like she is very hypocritical in the way that she plays the game in terms of she got angry at me like after Vlyn was evicted. She was like, I never put you as number one because I knew you had a final two with Vlyn, yada yada yada. But then she said, I could never evict Vlyn, but then she evicted me. So I was kind of like, that's kind of hypocritical for you to get angry at me for putting Vlyn first before you when you did the exact same and you couldn't actually physically evict him, but you could evict me super easily just to try and keep a relationship with the biggest like non-factor in the house who's not going to do anything regardless if you vote him or not. Um, so yeah, I'm really like Blake voting to keep me if he makes the end, like that's probably enough. Like that alone, plus like if just his underdog story will get my vote. But yeah, it's just Ryan. I don't blame him. Robin, I don't blame him either. Robin's stupid, but Ryan and Robin, as you did see, like I was trying to frantically try and get their votes last minute, and I don't think they were ever going to consider it. But yeah, it was kind of the thing with being evicted is that like in other orgs and stuff, well, I've only ever come third, so this is new. But like with Survivor and stuff, I've been like up to the deadline, like literally like so nervous, like I'm like shaking, like I don't want to get voted out or whatever. Um, when like that sort of thing happens. But you know, this one, like I have, like I said in my video, DR, like I'm happy with like life right now, and I don't really need um an org to like keep me happy. So it's kind of like I am angry at this situation and that people couldn't see that I feel like keeping me was beneficial to them. But yeah, I just think that like I'm good. I'm content, and so I kind of knew it was coming. So yeah.
Um, so like you definitely posted the speech of the season on your way out. So let's kind of deconstruct it a bit. Um,
Thank you.
just for like note and stuff, I've been really busy with exams and stuff, so I haven't been following along too closely with the season. So like I don't know nothing. I'm just trying to like, trying to catch up and see what's
Yeah,
happening. So
understandably. Yeah.
so like for example, with Celeste, do you
Mhm.
feel like it's possible? Because I know for you, during the double eviction, you had wanted um you didn't want Joey to go home, I don't think. You wanted the
Oh,
other person to go home next to him.
yeah, Ryan.
So, but you changed at the last second because you needed to be with the majority. So do you feel like maybe you're being too hard
Yeah.
on certain people? Like maybe they're
Yeah,
in the
no,
same
like I get
predicament?
that. Like, yeah, because what the thing with like final words and speeches and stuff is like even I can like own like there's probably many points that I made that are like hypocritical. Like I'm not gonna try and like sidestep that. Um, because yeah, that's the same with sex as well. But the thing was I didn't have any emotional connection to Joey. Like I didn't have any trust or anything with him. And like so it was kind of just like it doesn't really matter, like he's not going to work with me anyway. But with Celeste and stuff, like I'd voice chat her when like, and I felt like we had a good connection, and I'd tell her like stuff that I knew, and I'd give her information, and I felt like we were quite close and stuff. And I was ready in the following weeks to try and make a plea to her to like do what she did to Matt with the whole video final two thing that she made that caused her to be so loyal to him. I was even thinking of doing something like that in the next couple of weeks as the end game approached. But yeah, it was kind of like it's different for me when there's like a emotional um sort of like you actually have a bond with that person, and clearly they didn't actually feel the same about me as I felt about them, and so that kind of sucks to hear. But yeah, I'd rather, the thing that I hold above sex is, compared to sorry, I just have to be quiet, um is that sex kind of she owned up to it, and she like gave me her reasonings and whatever. But Celeste just left me on red and just ignored me and stuff. So and I think Celeste was always going to do what Amelia wanted, and Amelia wanted me gone. So I don't really think the whole she's Celeste wanted to vote with majority or sex is a different case. Yeah. So like I get the hypocrisy of that statement, but
Okay. And
yeah.
is there maybe like a little bit of humiliation involved? Like I feel like throughout the season, people kind of expressed to you like you're a pawn, you're just like you just
Mm,
doing what people say, you're just a goat, you're a slave to these people or whatever the
yeah,
case
yeah.
is. And like now you're evicted and it's kind of like maybe they had a point.
Um, the thing is, like, throughout my DR, like, I'm not like uber proud of this game. Out of my Big Brother games, like I've come third 4 times, and so those have been games that I can like step out of and be like, I'm proud of the way I played, and like I would have won if I sat in the final 2 seat. But like this one, I would have had a lot more fighting to do, and I would have had to do a lot more in the game. But yeah, I think in the first weeks, I was definitely like a pawn or manipulated or whatever. But I really took that as an opportunity to try and branch out. And the thing was, the reason that the sort of game didn't go my way is that I feel like I came up with like good ideas, but I could never get them to work based on other people's like stubbornness. Like I wanted Joey to leave next to Lynn or whatever, and I was like, Celeste, you have to renominate Joey. Like did all that and voice called her, and I convinced her that was like the way that she should go, or she was probably going to do that anyway. But like I just wanted to make her on page, and she was good with that, and she was even going to cast the tie-breaking vote to send Joey home, and then she just got switched by Ryan and Amelia and stuff, wanting the other way to happen. And then yeah, so like sort of that was kind of my thought processes. The first couple weeks, I was definitely like a pawn or whatever, and like manipulated. I'd probably say up until like week 3, which was Vynn's HOH, I believe, and that I was just still just playing my normal social game. But then like as the following week sort of occurred, I really did try and be more strategical and think about what actually did make sense for me moving forward. And I just couldn't get those plans to action. I don't think I was the most like the thing I can be proud of walking out of this is, like I was active. I was never just like sitting there just like, oh, this is going to happen or this is going to happen. Like when I wanted Joey to leave, I campaigned for Joey to leave. When I wanted Ryan to leave on the double, like I fought for Ryan to leave on the double. God, I can't even remember who else has gone home at this point. So like that sort of thing. Like I was never really I don't think I was ever a passenger when it got to the point where I realized that I needed to start like really playing the game like week 3 or whatever. I don't think I was ever just like sitting there looking pretty, just smiling and like letting other people walk all over me. But yeah, I don't really communicate lots of those ideas to my DR, so maybe that's especially from a spec point of view, like maybe that's how they view me. But like from my personal experience, like I don't think that if I walk out of the season, I think there's a lot more people that come before me in terms of who are actually pawns in the game. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And you do mention that in your thing, you call out specifically Blake and Larry that their games are not impressive enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so the Blake thing is purely just, so the last org I was in, I tried to do a final worst to try and help my friend, but it wasn't convincing enough. So for Blake's, I don't mean that at all. Like Blake's gonna get my vote if he's at the end, but I kind of just wanted to downplay his game a bit so that people didn't really target him after my eviction, and I kind of wanted to just point the blame on people like Ryan and Axel, who I actually like, who are like I can recognize they're playing well, and they've got like a higher chance of getting my vote. But like Blake's gonna get my vote regardless, unless he's sitting next to Ryan, then I'll probably still vote for Ryan. But yeah, so it's kind of like I did that to protect Blake, but then for Larry, it's absolutely true. Like Larry's literally just the biggest goat, like, and it's just disappointing that as JP's not here, but and for
You
Kevin,
voted for him to win season 2. Do you feel
yeah,
like his game has declined in quality?
yes, absolutely. I don't know what happened. It's like someone just like sucked out the well when Larry and JP were versing each other in the final 2, for like jury votes and stuff. Like I never was really like stunned with Larry's game. Like I thought he was okay. Like I thought he was good. He was fine, but this game, yeah, it's literally just like he is just a non-entity. He hasn't done a single thing, literally nothing in this whole game. And the only significant thing he's done has been saved week 1 by my veto. So it's kind of like, yeah, that was absolutely true what I mean. Like, and I was hoping that people would see that no matter who he sits next to, they'll go home moving forward. Like that's why I evicted Matt in season 2, next to Delara because I was like, Matt's a perma pawn. He's always going to stay. Why don't I make a chance to make new allies, hide behind a conflict between Delara and Larry, and then navigate my way to the end, and the perma pawn is gone. And yeah, it almost worked. But then, yeah, I think that people will probably end up regretting that moving forward if Larry does make it further, because people are going to really want him as their GOAT. So that's on them.
And you sounded really positive about Axel's gameplay. Would you consider voting for him, despite your rivalry?
Yeah, with what our beef. It depends, because I think the thing with Axel is like, I don't like. It's tricky. It's like a really complicated relationship with him. I think that Axel's not a person that I would be friends with in real life. Like, he's not. There's aspects of his personality that are just polar opposites to mine, that I repel away from, and when I'm looking for people that I want to hang out with. But yeah, I think that he plays the innocent card really, really well. Like, he plays it to a T, whereas people just think he's like harmless or whatever, and he's completely just like a non-factor. But he's obviously playing the game and lying to a lot of people. So yeah, I think his gameplay is a mixture of like spinning the truth and lying, and that's the sort of game that I'd ideally want to play. So I give him respect. If I take Axel out of the equation and I look at his game, that's the sort of thing that I'd be looking to play, except less playing the innocent card and more just like being myself. But yeah, if you put Axel into the equation, then that's where the lines get kind of blurred. So we'll see. He's definitely a lot higher than some other people.
You were the fan favorite in your very controversial season. Do you feel like you delivered for your fans again, or
Like I did say in my final speech, like I'm disappointed that I went out this early, and I don't think that I did enough to be fan favorite twice. But yeah, I think that my fan base, or why I got fan favorite or whatever in season 2, was that was sort of a season of like, there was lots of personalities that had things that triggered people like to not root for them, like things that pushed them away. Like Larry had his cockiness, JP had his prior kind of playing, like just becoming a goat and sort of being kind of cocky as well, I guess. Delara had her sort of outbreaks, I guess. Scooby was fine, I guess, but like everyone sort of had something that pushed them away in terms of like their personalities. Whereas I think that was my first org, so I was kind of naive and I was kind of innocent. And I was kind of just like, didn't really know what was going on. And I was just kind of like that sort of. I'm different. Like I can look back and be like, I'm a lot different who I am today compared to who I was when I played. So I was kind of like the rootable underdog, because I sort of survived against all odds and put myself in a spot where, like, even though I wasn't in the majority alliance, I still made it far. But whereas here, I do think I was an underdog to a degree, but because of like the underdog quality and like the general likability. Whereas here, I kind of feel like I was more the first couple of weeks probably hindered my the people. If anyone was rooting for me in season 2 that was rooting for me now, they probably got soured off by my first couple of weeks, and then maybe if they stuck around, they'd see a bit of a turnaround. But yeah, I think that it was. I don't know. I don't know if I had lots of fans, but I hope that I'd have some support looking into the Spec Lounge or whatever.
okay, fair enough. Well, I think that's all my main questions, so I'll get into some spectator questions.
Okay, all good.
So, do you regret not taking a shot at Amelia earlier when you had the chance?
Um, Looking back at it, yeah, absolutely. I think that um, yeah, the frustrating thing about Amelia is like I just thought we were like genuinely friends, like outside of the game as well, and I just didn't think that. Especially with the things she was telling me, it was kind of evil to lie about that sort of thing that she'd tell me. Like, I don't want you to get third again. Like, I want to get you as far as we can. We're a final two. Like, it's me and you, and we'd call all the time, and we'd talk about our strategies and stuff. And I, it's just funny to me how she thinks she's not a Ryan minion. Like, that was genuinely the biggest joke of the season. Like, it's just, it's real. Like, I literally sat here when I was campaigning to her when she was trying to convince herself that it was best to evict me, and I was literally like actually laughing. I was like, this is so funny. Like, she genuinely thinks she's not a Ryan minion. Like, that is actually funny. But yeah, I like obviously because she did end up evicting me. Her final two with me meant nothing and weighed nothing, and I think that when I play another Big Brother org in the future, I'm definitely going to take a lot less weight with my final twos because clearly people don't actually think that they're the real deal. So yeah, I'm pissed that I didn't realize that sooner, and that's my own fault for being blinded by the fact that I thought that she was just going to be with me, but she wasn't.
Which eviction would you say impacted your game the most?
Um, if I'd say the eviction that impacted my game the most was probably Vlin's because he was like a close ally of mine, even though I couldn't 100% trust him because he told everyone everything, especially sex. But yeah, I think that he was definitely someone that I was allied with that I could hide behind, and it was sort of like the Ryan versus Vlin thing. I really enjoyed like sort of hiding behind and like um not being sort of locked in on either side, even though I was definitely more pro Vlin. So, and as soon as he left and I voted in the minority, I think that's when things sort of started to spiral downwards.
Okay. Oh, were you gonna say more?
I was just going to say either that or I think that the Gly eviction in week two was definitely impacted me because I lost someone that like I knew that if I did fight for him to stay and I did get him to stay and it was a tie and I saved him, that he would be someone that would work with me. So and that was really disappointing as well, considering I knew like how he did really want to play, and that was the second time that Kevin asked to be evicted and he stayed. So yeah, it was frustrating for not me as a player. I suppose me as a player, but more me as like a friend because Guy is my friend, and that was just sucked that I had to put him up in terms of like me thinking that it was the best move to go for Axel when it probably wasn't, and I had to live with, and Six definitely tried to guilt trip me about that a lot. Was that like it was my fault and I had to move forward in the game, knowing that that was my doing and it would come back to bite me, which it did. So yeah, one of those two evictions, I'd say.
Okay. How do you think the season is being perceived in comparison to others? Yeah.
I think I was just thinking like I think in terms of an all-star season, I think it's disappointing the caliber of gameplay. Like I probably didn't help, but like I tried my best when I could, and I think that the cards were often I might have created my own cards, but like they were often not dealt in my favor. I think a lot of the spectators are probably disappointed to see Ryan just steamrolling and Amelia being a minion, and all these people just literally believing every single lie that they sell. Um, yeah, I think because people don't realize that Ryan can't take everyone to final two. Like Ryan can't take everyone the whole way. So I don't know why people haven't realized that. Like I started realizing that, and maybe it was a little too late. But I think in terms of the season, hmm, I don't know. I think it's definitely not as strong as previous ones. I didn't have as much fun here as I did in season two, even though it was controversial. I still think it was like a good season. But yeah, I think season five's probably. I don't know. I didn't really watch season one. Season three is like quite good. because the inactive people went first, and then season 4 I liked, but yeah, I think that the people that I think I was saying that I think that a reverse boot order, it's kind of, it says a lot about a season when like a reverse boot order might have actually been better for the season and would have been a more desirable result than the actual one. So yeah, I guess I'd say maybe mediocre with like a few people who are like standouts. I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait and see.
Um, I have a few more, but I'm gonna get to your exit interviews first, just in case like you have to end up going unexpectedly. So
Okay.
you should have access to the exit interview channel. So I'll post them there. You have to stay on it so you because you don't have read history permission,
Oh, okay.
and you can just give me your reactions as I post them.
I'm ready.
Okay. Here's Blake.
Oh, Blake. Interesting. Am I supposed to comment on them?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. So like he's definitely at the start. You know, he ended up telling Amelia once that he thought that I was playing the middle, and that sort of pushed me away from him. But as the game went on, I kind of realized, you know, like that wasn't his intent at all, and we kind of got sort of cornered together. But I'm glad I got cornered with him. Like he's a really good guy, and yeah, I'm grateful that at least I didn't go out unanimously. So yeah, they definitely are snakes. I agree with you there, Blake.
Here's Ryan.
Yeah, like that like I can respect and get like and I guess I take that as a compliment that like the best player like thought that I was like made way more of an effort to stay and all that. So yeah, I'll take that. Like that's the goodbye message that I expected. Yeah, I agree with that. It sort of has been a Mexican standoff, and good on him for swinging first, I guess.
Axel's. It's a lengthy one.
The very good one. How is it? We choose this. That's a nice goodbye message. It's nice to see that maybe he actually wasn't lying when if it did tie. So I think he has the same sort of game sense that I had that I lacked in week 2, but like that I had towards the end of my stay. Kind of like keeping Larry was more dangerous for both of us, especially if we were playing the sort of same game. So yeah, that's nice. I think that probably bolsters up his chances of getting my vote in a final 2. So good on him. Nice goodbye message.
Here's Robin.
Listening in his back pocket.
That's not even cute.
I get to fuck it all up for you. She literally brought back up the reason I turned on y'all to get married. Get literally this one. That's interesting take that he thinks that Amelia has more control. Yeah, I think that Amelia thinks that as well. I think Amelia thinks that she's the head honcho of the house, and regardless if she is or not, then she's not going to get my vote. But that's very interesting to see what he says about sex, and that yeah, it's good that I sort of actually had some sort of impact on Robin in the last couple minutes. So yeah, that definitely loses chances of sex getting my vote to stay for her to win. So yeah, interesting.
Here's Amelia.
I don't even want to read this one. That's so dumb. She's literally an idiot. I hope we never talk after the game. She's stupid. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Whatever. That's a really stupid and dumb goodbye message. And if those are all of her goodbye messages, then like if Robin really thinks that she's in control and reading that goodbye message, then yeah, he needs a wake up call.
And here's Celeste.
That's a nice goodbye message. Yeah, I think that's very true. I like the compliments, but I'm sure that she's probably giving them to everyone in her goodbye messages. Yeah, I'm sort of staying neutral. I think that she's probably. There's a chance that I'll definitely vote for her in the end. In my speech, I was just pissed, but yeah, if she is being genuine without Amelia's blessing or whatever, then I guess it does just show the whole she is controlled by Amelia and she didn't want to do her own thing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Okay. Sex's goodbye message. She did a video for it that's like 6 minutes long, so I'm gonna give it to you after this to watch it.
Oh my god.
And you can comment how you feel in your DR, I guess.
Okay, all good.
It has a couple wrap-up questions if you still have a little time.
I've got like, oh yeah, I've got like 5 minutes, so okay. I'll just speed through them, rapid fire.
Someone wanted to know what you're gonna do with all that facial hair.
I'm gonna trim it, but I did shave. Like it was a lot worse before I made that video DR, but like it's not actually that bad. Okay, it just looks really intense on on video because it's like really defined. But I'll probably shave it in like a week, so then it comes back like it's like a nice sort of nice short length for when I have my prom in a couple weeks. So I'll make sure I keep you posted, whoever anonymously asked this question.
Okay.
It was Micah.
Surprise.
Who are you
next one
to get cast on JRZ14?
Oh, I didn't have a look at that actually. I'm rooting for Vlyn, Walker, Toon, I guess, Spencer, JP, Josh, I guess. Not Captain. Captain can choke. Brody for the memes, I guess. Maybe Bray. Oh no. Yeah, I don't really know all of them.
Interesting. So across your 2 seasons, what would you say your favorite moment has been?
Across the 2 seasons?
Yes.
My favorite moment has been that's a good question. Season 2, what was my favorite moment? Season 2, my probably favorite moment was when I evicted Matt, and it was just like the vote was so close and stuff. Even though in the end, wasn't it? I think Johnny flipped as well because he knew that my vote wasn't going there, but I can't remember. But when Larry was like so pissed at me that I kept Delara, oh, that was so much fun. And then in the season, I don't really have a favorite moment as such. I think my favorite moment would be maybe did I have any really fun voice chats? I didn't. Maybe a voice chat with like I don't really know. See, that's kind of the thing. That's why I like this first season more. Like I can't really think of anything that was like significant that like I really enjoyed. yeah. So I'll have to get back to you on that one if I think of anything.
Enough. And what has your favorite challenge been? Competition.
Oh, I really liked the veto that I won, like the first one, the emoji one. I thought that one was really cool. And then I obviously like day moves as well, but I didn't get to play this season, which was annoying.
Enough. Um, so like what happened that you had called sex a mammy?
Oh my god, don't not bring that up. I had no idea that that was even a thing, and I felt so bad. I still feel so bad. Like I had no idea. I was so confused because like of the responses I got, and I was just typing in other ways. Like I was just saying like "mama," just like a "hey sis," "hey mama," or whatever. And then I had no idea, and I felt so bad. I thought that was gonna ruin my game then and there. But yeah, deepest apologies to anyone that offended. That was really, I made a conscious effort to make sure that I research everything that I say, even if it's just like an alternate spelling of saying something. That was rough.
Cause what did I want to ask? I mean, I think oh, you know what? I did have something to ask. Okay. So I heard a little rumor, as in I got receipts, that allegedly you wasn't doing the Edgic for season 3 and 4.
I was. Who's this birdie? Who is this? Who is this rumor coming from?
As I said, Liam did do it. For some reason, Simon doesn't believe me.
I did. Here's the thing. When I had when I didn't do when I had like school and stuff, it was like tricky, and I would put them in, and I would say to Samantha, I'd say, "Does this look good?" And she obviously doesn't have as much edgic experience as I sort of did, but that's when I'd ping you, and I'd be like, "Do you think it was an over the top negative or this one instead?" But I can assure you, my work was often late, very late, but it was my work. Okay.
Thank you. That is exactly what I said. I said I helped him on occasion when he was busy with school, but he
The
did
stories
most
line
of
up,
it.
sis. The stories line up.
I guess. And also, apparently the reason you was taking so long with the drafts is because you were manually doing out the points every single time. You didn't know how to do
What?
formulas on the sheet?
No, I had no idea. So that's why it
Mm-mm.
took me so long. I was like adding it up.
Guess.
That's very funny.
But anyways, it was fun having you. So you can go to the Dre house with Blaine and Joy and have fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll try my hardest. I look forward to seeing if anyone actually ever takes a shot. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for casting me.
No problem. Even though we joke about you being Vessel and all, you're fun to watch.
Thanks. I'm glad I've got something going for me. I'll catch you guys later.